Little Miss Recap contains adult language and is intended for entertainment purposes only. Hi everyone, welcome to Little Miss Recap. My name is Amy and I'm your host, and I'm here with my favorite sibling duo, Tess and Brooke Brigham from Psych Legal Pop. Did I get it right, Tess?
Yes, you did. You did.
I did.
You did.
Hi ladies, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having us. Yeah. I love this documentary. I'm so happy I watched it, and yeah.
Yeah, I love listening to you guys do a documentary. I just really do. I listen to almost every episode you put out, but I'm always very interested in the docs that you guys do. I think you do a phenomenal job covering them, and I thought you would be perfect for this episode.
Thank you.
Thank you. You know, it's nice to hear in between are you really a therapist and nitwits?
I know.
Like whatever else we're being called that week. But yeah,
I know. The other day I woke up and somebody had left like a nasty comment somewhere for me, and I was just like almost in tears. I said it to me, if one more person says one more mean thing about me, like sometimes it just breaks you. Other times you're like, yeah, whatever.
But then you get these, we've gotten a few really kind messages. I think people knowing what's going on in the world and how difficult it is. And we got a message from one of our Patreon members that's not even in this country who's like checking on us.
Yeah.
Nice. How are you? It's like, thank you.
Well, and I don't understand. We won't get too much into this, but like, yes, you're a therapist, but you can't be giving like therapeutic advice over the podcast, right? Like you can only go into that so much without like diagnosing people and stuff. So I don't know what people expect.
But. Yeah. And I also think that I probably say some outrageous things or kind of crass things at times. And there's a little bit of like, but listen, am I this crass with my clients? No, but I do believe in laughter in therapy. There is laughter. It is fun.
This is entertainment. This
is
a podcast. Yes. It's meant to be entertaining. And one of the criticisms we get a lot is you don't talk enough about the law and about
Brooke, you're not handing out legal advice to everybody over.
But also it's like I can only comment on what's out there. Not every episode of reality TV has any legal issues in it.
I think here's what
it's a concept. It's a view of these shows from the viewpoint of an attorney and a therapist.
It's the lens through which you see the world.
Exactly. We have very specific points of view, and people can't get that sometimes.
Well, I think what you should do is you should end every episode of Your Sister Wives with Brooke's Legal Corner, and it's just ways that the wives can sue Cody and bring him down. Just a different tip every week. And maybe we'll get lucky and one of them will listen and they'll be like, okay, this is how I'm going to take him down.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when I do start talking about the legal issues, like with the property and stuff, Tessa's eyes glaze over and I'm like, okay, nobody's being entertained by this.
I'm sorry. It looks like my eyes are glazed over. I'm interested. I think a good example of it is we covered last week. It'll probably be 2 weeks from now, but the Sweet Bobby. And that's a great example of how we sisters and, same upbringing, same parents, same everything. But because of just how we've lived our, who we are, that I had a lot of empathy for her. And I could kind of see, because I would join a cult like you, Amy. I would join the cult.
I think it's the little sister.
Yeah, I would join the cult. I would fall in love with this person. And Brooke is just like, you have got to be kidding me.
And Brooke's always like, thank God you have us, you and your dad. And Jenny says similar things to me, but the kind of input I get from my sisters, like when I'm talking about Gypsy Rose, whose mother put a, quote, hex on her by burying her menstrual blood in the backyard. Jenny called me to tell me, actually, that's not a bad curse. That's a protection spell. So you need to correct that on record. So that's what I'm getting from my sister. Sometimes I would rather her talk about the law than all of her dabblings.
Yes.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about Martha Stewart. So this is the new documentary. I believe it's just called Martha, right?
Yeah.
Did you guys, let me ask you this. What is your experience with Martha Stewart? Because I will tell you right now, from the first time I got my first apartment, which was 2000, until about 2005, my entire house was completely decorated by Martha Stewart's Kmart line.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
I was so into it.
Mhm.
So did you guys
love her.
do any of that? Did you buy it up?
I never bought the Kmart stuff, but I definitely followed her, my whole life, it feels like, the
Mhm.
magazine, and I always thought that, she was very aspirational. It's like, yeah, I want a garden that looks like that, and I want to be able to make food like that. I always loved her and just enjoyed everything that she did. And I also thought she was, a great example of a really strong, successful woman,
Mhm.
who was hated on because of that. And, we all know something about that.
Yeah.
So I kind of related to her.
Yeah. Well, you know what I think is so interesting is for me, I've never really I've read the magazine, I've looked at this stuff, and I was really one of those people that's like, "This is gorgeous, I'm never gonna do this, but I love these pages,"
Oh, yeah.
but knowing I'm full well never gonna do any of it. But I also I wasn't mad at her. I didn't feel like she was making me feel bad about myself. To me, it always felt a little bit like, "Hey, if this is something that you're into, if you enjoy this, you know, this is how you can do, here, this is how you can do it." Or if you, what they said in the documentary, if you want this kind of garden, but you can't afford to have a professional gardener come in here, this is how you can learn how to do it on your own. And they talked about this, like how she was the original influencer, and she really was one of these original DIY before YouTube of
Yeah.
and essentially this is what I do. I get on TikTok and I teach some
Right.
concept. I mean, she's a pioneer. She
Yeah.
really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a line in the documentary where she says, "Well, people might not make this cake, but they can think about it. They've
Mhm.
seen
They
it.
can
Mhm.
aspire to it. I was
Yeah,
like,
Yeah.
yeah.
you can look at beautiful things and go, wow, yeah, I'm not going to make that cake, but now it's in my brain, and
Mhm.
it's a little dose of dopamine or something."
Yeah. Well,
And I
the too is about the environment, right? That I feel like what she did, and we know this when we go to like good conferences. This is a great example. Like if you've ever spent a lot of money to go to a conference, there are times that I've been to conferences where details, do you know what I mean? Like these little
Yeah.
details to think
Yeah.
of. And it's not meant to make you feel bad, but it's almost like, oh, great, that's great. I do need a pen right here, and here it is, and I do need this thing right here, and oh,
Mhm.
you need an afternoon snack. Thank you.
I feel like a good
Yeah.
wedding is like that too.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Like
exactly.
a good wedding,
Little
like you're not
seamless.
saying where is this? It's just
Mhm,
happening and flowing. Absolutely. I think too, like we would be remiss if we didn't talk about the generational aspect here. Like
mhm,
we grew up, we're all Gen Xers, and we grew up where it was kind of like, we aspired to be rich people. I mean, we
Mhm.
had lifestyles of the rich and famous.
mhm,
Yeah.
And we thought in the 80s that like growing up to become rich was attainable.
mhm.
And then like
Yeah,
we grew up and we were like, oh, it's really not for anybody.
mhm,
But I think there was this kind of Martha Stewart was like kind of a level below that. Like she didn't feel rich and out of touch for me. She felt like she was working with Kmart. And I was like,
mhm,
Yeah.
I can afford a Kmart shower curtain. I could
Yeah.
mhm.
go in there and get it. So
Yeah,
it was like, we aspired to that kind of stuff, which, I think explains the Trump thing. He was a millionaire when we were kids,
yeah.
Mhm.
one could argue. But Martha Stewart, I don't feel like she was ever out of reach. I always understood what she was talking about. I always understood where she was coming from, and it seemed attainable in some
Mhm.
way. But
Well,
like I told you guys when we started, I was nervous this was going to be like oh, I'm a poor white rich woman who did a crime and I had to go to jail for a little while and everybody should feel sorry for me. I have a totally different outlook on this now because there was a
mm,
lot I didn't know.
mhm.
Yeah. Well, I never
Interesting.
felt like she wanted people to feel sorry for her
But
about
I
the.
thought that's what the documentary was going to be.
Oh,
Like I
okay.
thought that's what we were going into.
Okay.
Like Martha unfairly persecuted, and she kind of was.
She
Mhm.
was.
She kind of
Yeah,
was. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of people who sold the stock the same day she did. None of
Mhm.
them went to prison.
Yeah.
She was
Yeah.
made an example of.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So we kind of start with her backstory, but there is a quote in this little intro that we see. She's like walking around her garden and she's kind of giving orders of things that she wants. And they ask her what she dislikes, which is a long
Love
list. She says waste, inefficiency, avoidance, impatience. People who think they can do more than they do, not paying attention to detail, being mean just to be mean, aprons and house dresses. And she also used to dislike the color purple. Sorry, Robin Brown. And she dislikes the color red. She doesn't plant anything red in her garden. Now I have a question. Does that mean she has no tomatoes? That would
That's a
upset
good
me.
question.
That would upset me. That would. So then she says that I think her dad used to say this to her. If you want to be happy for a year, get married. If you want to be happy for a decade, get a dog. And if you want to be happy for a lifetime, make a garden. Now,
was that her father that said that?
I don't know. Somebody said that to her, but do you guys like to garden?
No.
I
the idea of gardening, ugh. I hate I find no enjoyment in any of it. I love to walk around beautiful gardens. Again, this is why Martha's never bugged me, because I've always been like, this would be nice, but I'm not going to do it.
I like to garden, but I feel like I am not good at it. I try. We have a garden every year, but I can't get the timing right. We're in Northeast Pennsylvania, so like we really only have 3 nice months, if that. So it's like your growing window is very short. I don't know. I'm just not good at it.
Well, it's a hell of a lot harder to grow vegetables and food. And the sense that I get, right, is Martha, they had to grow food growing up. Like they had to get this food working, like because it had to. So they really had to, like farmers, tend to their garden. And
it's interesting. So her father teaches them each to garden, and she says she was the ideal child. And this is such an older sibling thing, right, Tess? I'm the ideal child. So of course I was favored. Sorry, bro. And she becomes his favorite, and she says she ironed his linen shirts, and her dad was very handsome and he was a perfectionist, but in work he was kind of a failure. So he was like this miserable guy who was stuck in a sales job that he didn't want to be in, and he started each day with coffee and a glass of red wine. And she's like, he didn't appear to be a drunk. He was just a dissatisfied, unhappy human.
Okay. Good times.
So they lived in Jersey. They didn't say this, but I looked it up, and she was born in 1941 and they lived in Jersey City. I didn't see that. Maybe I missed it. I was trying to take notes while I was watching it. So she's of my Graham's generation. I don't know.
I didn't realize she's 83. Yeah.
Oh God, I can't do math. I have no idea. Is that 83?
Yeah, 83.
Yeah. Well, your grandmother's, that's our parents' age.
Our parents are 80.
Yeah, 81.
Oh, my
your
parents.
grandma's?
Yeah, don't forget my parents. My mother was 17 when she had Jenny.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Our parents are only 20 years younger than us. So my parents are like 70 and 72 or something like that.
Wow. Okay.
All right. So no, my mother's not even 70 yet. She's 67, 68.
Oh, wow. That's
she's
crazy.
not 70 yet. So her brother Eric says dad couldn't support 6 kids, so he taught them how to grow food, like we said. Now, this is interesting because some of her siblings are like, we hate gardening and never want to do it again, which I'm guessing is a trauma response to this kind of childhood that they had. But Martha like took to it. It was something that she really loved. And I remember my gram, they had a victory garden growing up, and she always talked about it, and she was always forced to deal with it. And she hated gardening. She never grew anything on her own. Like not even a houseplant. Nothing.
Wow.
It's weird. Yeah. So dad loses the job. He has no money saved. Martha goes modeling, and she's beautiful.
She is really gorgeous. I don't think I'd ever seen photos of her that long. You know what I mean? Because she was introduced to us, when she was 40, 45, 50. I was like, oh my God, she's stunning, of course. And I always forget how tall she is. And I was like, yeah, okay. That makes sense. You're a model.
Now she says, what did you think of this? She said her mother was a good cook and Martha learned everything from her. Mom was a school teacher and cooked 16 meals a day. Did she have to make a meal for each of the kids?
Yeah, 16 meals in that math.
Yeah.
She said 16 meals a day. I watched it twice. And I was
How many
like,
kids were there? 6?
she didn't say. Oh yeah.
And then
But
there's
this was
8.
tied
There's
to her
8.
being a school teacher for some reason.
So you know what she was really saying is I think it sounds like the mom there's 8 of them total. So it sounds like the mom cooked like
Twice
a
a day.
full meal for breakfast and a full meal for dinner.
So
and
maybe she
worked in
meant
between.
16 meals a week, and she said 16 meals a day.
Well, I think
No, 16 a
it's
day would
16
be
a day,
breakfast
but I
and
think that she's
dinner for
counting
8.
like every
I
plate.
see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Because I was like, Jesus Christ, I could barely cook one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Martha, the whole thing with Martha is she doesn't want to be a housewife. She just doesn't. So in 1960, she goes on scholarship to Barnard in New York, and she meets her husband, Andy Stewart. He's rich, he's well-traveled, super sweet. She falls madly in love with him. He goes to Yale Law School. She says he was sexually aggressive and she liked it. Whoa. Whoa.
Yeah, and he had an Amex card.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. And
Yeah.
that was a big thing.
Well, and I just want to point out this one thing here, which is, Martha, and I'm not taking this away from her at all, that she is absolutely, yes, self-made, but you cannot ignore the fact that her beauty got her this man. And I'm sorry, like after they got married, they traveled for 5 months. That sounds nice. Wouldn't that be nice? And it's like, yeah, because you married into wealth that allowed you to be able to, right, learn about the finer things in life, teach you all these things, have that. Because when she, I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but even when she left being a stockbroker, like we bought a home, it's like she didn't have to go and get a job. She could renovate the home. So there was a bit like there's privilege in a lot of the stuff that was happening with her.
Yeah, I agree. And she also does say that when she was in Europe for her honeymoon, like they take this extended honeymoon, she's studying everything and she's writing down every single, like I used to watch Mike Schaub, my heartthrob, in 7th grade. I had a track of every t-shirt he wore every day. He wore his Metallica t-shirt this day. He wore the Ride the Lightning t-shirt this day. The Guns N' Roses one on this day. I had a chart. I wrote everything down. That's what Martha Stewart's doing, but to better use. Yeah. So she tells this story about going to a cathedral. What did you guys think of this? She goes to this cathedral in Florence on their honeymoon. And she gets swept up in the moment and starts making out with a stranger.
I loved that. Yeah.
I loved it too.
Just a stranger in the Duomo. Yeah.
I was kind of like, I would do that.
Yeah,
that's badass.
I think we are so it's so funny. Like again, I've been married over 20 years, so I'm not advocating cheating or any of that kind of stuff.
No.
But we do get very rigid with things. And you can love your partner and your husband and also be like, this guy's hot. I'm having an emotional
swept
moment.
up in a moment.
And then they parted. It's not like she had this long affair with him and
that
lied.
really
It's a
cheating?
little bit. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm a little with Martha on this. Like, it's cheating light. It's a little like, but again, I think we get and I think this is a little bit of what bugs us about Martha is that, that's why people were bothered by her is that she,
doesn't
she
give a fuck.
Yeah.
No,
that's
she
exactly
just doesn't.
it. Yeah.
And she was 19 and the producers are like, was this infidelity? And she's like, no, it was emotional and exciting.
It was an emotional response. Yeah.
Yeah.
She has her daughter and, by all accounts, hers included, like she's just not a warm, fuzzy mom. She's just not.
Yeah, I really feel for this kid. And I've heard her, she was interviewed by Howard Stern, I think, at one point. And I just, I really feel for this kid because I think she's had a rough time.
Yeah. I don't know. I disagree. She had a great life.
I mean, she's had a very privileged life for sure.
But her mother's very supportive. Her mother's very supportive of her. And I don't think she's ever really had to work or do anything. At one point, she had a Sirius XM radio show.
Yeah, that's why she was on Howard.
Yeah, Jenny Koppelman had. But I mean, come on. Look, if I could have that life, I don't need a lot of warm and fuzzy.
But see, I think it depends on the kind of person you are.
Yeah.
Because like, I think my sister Jenny, who doesn't need a lot of overly emotional assurance or anything like that, I think she would say the same thing. Like that wouldn't bother me. That would bother me. The little needy little kid who wouldn't go to kindergarten because I couldn't leave my mother. You know what I mean? I would be devastated. I think it all kind of depends on the kind of kid you are. I don't know. Or Tess, does that make you the kind of kid you are?
I think it's a little bit, right? It's a little bit of both. I think that, right, we become these things because of the birth order, and that's the other flip side of being the younger sibling, is that no one ever believes that you can ever do anything half the time.
Let's go to Amy and Tess, younger
Little
sibling
sister
Grape
corner.
against Brooke corner.
I'll just be quiet and you guys talk amongst yourselves.
But I will say that it sounds like she realized very quickly that motherhood isn't really for me.
Yeah.
And I want to say she pointed out something that was really important to hear, which is, again, there's this assumption that if you're a woman, then therefore you should want to be a mother, that you're going to be a good mother, that this is going to make you happy and make you feel satisfied. And that is not true. It's for some women, yes. And I think that all women, once you have your child and you're there and you love your child deeply, but at the same time, I think a lot of women, and they just don't say it, go, well, I could have not had this kid. And I think I would have been okay. And it doesn't mean that they didn't want the kid. And again, I think that's Martha's such she's polarizing, because she's very domestic and warm in all these ways over here, like this amazing party thrower. But on these other hands, she's very, a little bit like, all right, that's just how it is.
Yeah. And again, this is the 60s. So she's challenging the status quo. Like she is turning that on its head. No, one of my daughters, from the minute she could talk, was like, I don't want kids. I'm never having kids. And I always say to her, then don't. Because if you don't want kids, it's a lot of fucking work. Yeah. So don't have kids if you don't want them. I think some people are just like, it's not for me. And that's fine. So now she goes to work on help me, Wall Street. And this is through Andy's father, who was a stockbroker. So to your point, Tess, she gets this job, right? She makes a ton of money. It's male dominated. It's got a little Peggy Olson quality to this, working at the firm. And she says, what happened in the back of cabs, I don't really talk about on those business rides. Like, it was very male dominated. One of Andy Moness is the guy who hired her. He said, we didn't even have a ladies' room on our floor. Like, we didn't even... What are you doing here?
Yeah.
Wow. And she said so I guess at one point they recommend a stock and it goes bust, and she gets so upset that she just realized, like, this isn't for me. I can't with this pressure. So they moved to Westport, Connecticut, and this is where she finds Turkey Hill, which is a dream house that she had to have, and they completely renovated it. Hey everyone, stay tuned. Little Miss Recap will be right back after these words. Amanda.
Amy.
For our sponsor, Lumi Gummies today, I have an idea. I think we should do a rapid fire bonus round. Which 90-day celebrity stars need a Lumi Gummy or have taken a Lumi Gummy maybe?
Okay. Madeline.
Oh, I have her on my list too. Manon. Manon could really use indica.
Yeah, to calm her the fuck down.
Calm down a little bit.
I think Jenny could use a sativa to maybe up the energy a little bit, because there's none there.
Funny you mentioned Jenny. I have Sumit's aunt can use one to
definitely
chill out a little bit.
She definitely could use one. This is a wild card. Florian could use one. I don't know what variety.
Yeah,
but
maybe he needs a hybrid.
I feel like Florian on a gummy would be good.
Yeah. I also have Dylan's mom from Dylan and Patia.
Yeah.
And I have Luke's dad of Luke and Madeline.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And we can use Lumi Gummies as well.
Yes. All the time.
Consistent, mellow, and super delicious, Lumi Gummies are specifically designed to make you feel good, not stoned. Whether you're looking for an end-of-the-day de-stressor, a midday mood boost, or help getting the best sleep ever, Lumi Gummies has a strain that's right for you. So, Amanda, our flavor that we like a lot in this home is the sour strawberry cookie hybrid.
Ooh, is it particularly sour?
It's not super sour because I don't like sour things.
Yeah, I don't either.
But I just find that it's the perfect blend of up and down. It's right in the middle.
Nice.
But you feel good. I really like it.
I'm a hybrid girly myself, and I'm going to go with the watermelon sorbet because I do enjoy watermelon, and it's just a nice, cool, chill evening of watching TV.
You know what I need to do? I need to take one before Sister Wives comes out. Before I meet my arch nemesis in the ring.
Yes. I think it would help you a great deal. I think it would help Cody Brown a great deal.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Guys, Lumi gummies are available nationwide. Go to lumigummies.com. That's LUMI gummies.com. Use code Little Miss Recap for 30% off your order. That is Lumi Gummies, LUMI gummies.com. Code Little Miss Recap. Lumis.com. Code Little Miss Recap. It's 30%. And the link is in the show notes if you guys need it. Turkey Hill, do I have that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Turkey Hill Road. Yeah.
Turkey Hill is like a brand, a regional brand here of like stuff. Like we have Turkey Hill gas stations, Turkey Hill ice cream, Turkey Hill. Yeah. So that's why I thought I maybe wrote that by accident.
And does she own that home?
I don't know.
Home,
I think
right?
she still owns it.
Yeah, where everything, all the pictures, like the because this, I knew the Turkey Hill sounded very familiar to me. Yeah. So I was like, this is the home, right? Where everything started. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because Alexis says it was a nightmare moving from their like posh New York City apartment to a farmhouse with no amenities. And this happened with me. My parents bought a fixer-upper when I was 6. And my dad didn't know how to do anything, nor did my mother. So like we had to pay somebody to do it. And then money kept running out. We were living with sheets as walls and this one's sleeping in this room. I lived in a house that was constantly being remodeled, which was such a metaphor for our family. But I get like, this is tough on a kid when you want to do this kind of stuff, especially if you're coming from like a wealthy situation.
Hence Coyote Pass. Like, what were they thinking? Turkey Hill Road had more amenities than Coyote Pass. At least there was a structure.
At least they have money to actually fix it up. It doesn't stay that way for long,
So one of the best parts I thought is Martha gets up there and she's like domesticating the whole neighborhood and she gets chickens and shit and the neighbors are all calling the cops. And she says it was here that she discovered her love of housekeeping. And Andy gets a job as a publisher of art books. And she entertains all of the authors. And she throws these like baller dinner parties. And from that springs her catering business. And it becomes $1 million business.
And again, I just like to say she skipped a lot of steps. Like she wasn't doing the bar mitzvahs and the birthday parties. Like her first catering job was something that would take a long time for someone to get. I'm not saying that she didn't deserve them. I'm just saying that she got to skip a lot of steps. She really did.
I mean, it helps when your husband is a well-to-do publisher.
Yeah, I mean, that's the ideal job. Yeah.
So now we get the classic, we have a third person saying, well, everything seemed perfect, but was it? Dun, dun, dun. So now we get the Martha says Andy was not satisfied at home and he had a ton of girlfriends. And she goes, now you young women, you listen. If your husband cheats on you, leave because he is a piece of shit. And the producer goes, didn't you have an affair with the stockbroker? Yeah, but Andy didn't know. And he goes, no, he knew. He told us about it. And he said that he didn't stray until you told him about your affair. She goes, that's not true. And I had a very brief affair with a very handsome Irish dude. It was nothing. I thought that was pretty funny.
It was.
So, I mean, how do you take all of that? Like, I kind of just want to laugh at it, but it's a little bit like the two of them are pointing fingers at like who destroyed our marriage, and it's a little bit like you both screwed up. So
I think two things can be true. I think that she did have the affair and tell Andy about it, but I don't think that's why he strayed. I think she probably told him in retaliation for finding out him straying. That's my theory. I don't know. Because I can't see her just narking herself out about it for no reason.
Yeah.
I mean, she's not dumb.
Yeah. I mean, just like she didn't tell him about the kiss in the Duomo. I mean, why bother? So she was retaliating.
Do we think she got caught up in the romance of Wall Street?
She had to go to the bathroom somewhere. So, I mean,
I don't know if martini lunches, they get out of hand.
So Lexi says it was an uncomfortable home to grow up in, and she learned to suppress most of her emotions.
See, that's when I feel bad for her.
And Martha says, or she says, Martha just wasn't a joyful mother. She was ruthless. She was like a great white shark. She was kind of a bitch, somebody says. So then she caters this book event for Andy, and another publisher approaches her and says, you should do a book on entertaining. Now, this sent me into a rage because if you've listened to my show, you know I rage out when people just get book deals handed to them because
don't even start with me. But again, privilege. Like again, you're in a room with a decision maker. That's hard. It's hard to get there. You know?
Yeah, very true. So she works with Crown Publishing. She makes it very clear, I'm doing this book my way, motherfuckers. Like it's going to be the way I want it. It's going to be accessible. It's going to be colorful. And she said she wanted the woman working in a diner to be able to make the same meal as a New York City debutante. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Martha was the first influencer, like you guys said. The book is called Entertaining. She writes a bunch more. She says, I spent so much time doing all of that stuff that I didn't pay attention to my life. So I thought that was interesting. Is she kind of saying it was my fault it all fell apart because I was so career driven, because we wouldn't put those same pressures on a man.
Yeah.
But I think that's what it is. I mean, it also sounds a little bit like, you know, I get the sense that Andy has always had a wandering eye, and I think he was always like focusing on other things. And I think for her, it was just like, okay, I'll throw myself into it, right? Like one person does one thing, the other person responds, and then all of a sudden you wake up and you're like, oh, we don't even know each other anymore.
Yeah.
And they did mention this too, that she was, and I truly believe this, that she would nitpick at him, like, because she was a perfectionist and she wanted things the way she wanted them. So I really do think he felt like she's like, I'm never good enough for her. I'm never good enough. I'm never good enough. Again, it's not an excuse for cheating, but it's just a little bit like, I think these are two people who, you know, probably should have dated for a year. They shouldn't have ever married, but because of the time frame, they married.
Yeah. And I also think too, just being someone who talks a lot about my perfectionism in therapy, it's more about her than it is about him. Like she's picking at him because of something in her, not Andy. We don't know what kind of person Andy was. We don't really get to know him very well through this. I guess he's remarried and like went on, and his he issued a statement with his new wife. And they were like, we don't know why Martha wants to drag all this up again, and a lot of it is untrue. That was their statement. Wow. So now we get to this part where we learn that Andy was banging someone who's working at Turkey Hill Farms.
Okay, so this was
bad.
A bridge too far. This was, I mean, come on. Yeah, in your own home. You can't leave the property to find someone. This is like the, you know, Ben Affleck and what Gavin Rossdale, like having sex with the nanny. It's like, are you insane?
Yeah. Who else had sex with the nanny? Was it Jude Law?
Maybe. I think so.
Yeah.
Several people. Yeah. It's a long list.
I mean, a lot of people bang their nanny.
You're just super lazy.
Very lazy.
So she said he cheated on my property. And isn't that nice? And at the time, she's promoting this wedding book and everybody's kind of like, argh. So then Martha tells the producers, look, this is hard for me to talk about. I gave you all of my letters. Can't you just do something with that? Can't you just make something work there? So we do see the letters and they're like, I'm so upset. This is agonizing. And the letters kind of go from, you see this journey, right? From, I'm so devastated that you've hurt me, to fuck off, essentially. Like you just see the rage building in the letters, which I thought was really interesting. So in 1990, they get divorced after 27 years of marriage. And she says, I was 40 years old. That can't be right.
Yeah, that's what I wrote down. She was 40.
What's 40 minus 27? Isn't that only 13?
Oh, yeah, you're right. Oh, or was it he was running off with a 40-year-old, maybe?
Maybe. No, she definitely, maybe I have how long they were married wrong. Because she was definitely 40.
Yeah, I wrote the same thing. 27 years of marriage.
So what year was she born? 40 what?
41.
41.
So she would have been 49. So I think she was turning 50.
Okay, here. She was married to Andrew Stewart from 1961 to 1990.
That's 29
She was 50 in 1990.
Yeah.
She wasn't 40. Okay. Unreliable narrator.
Okay. Well, I want to say she is 83 now. And maybe she was just kind of like, what was I then? Because I think in her mind, no matter what, it was, listen, 40, 50, these feel old. You know, when you're young, like, and you think about being, you know, I can imagine her Just getting
You don't
it
think
wrong.
she's pulling a Blanche Devereaux?
No.
Okay.
I don't think
All
she's
right.
doing that because she knows everything's out there. And I also
Yeah.
want to say, I'm really surprised she shared those letters because that made her like that. She did not look perfect. Like she was
And it
very
humanized her.
vulnerable and human, you know, in
Yep.
this place of, like this was, even though she didn't show it. And I think that's the other part of it is just because someone doesn't show it doesn't mean they don't feel it.
Yes.
And that's the
I
thing. She
agree.
was deeply, deeply hurt by Andy and the
Yes.
cheating. It was, I'm sure, awful. And I'm sure it was awful for her to have to go and talk about her weddings book. But because she's not breaking down and crying, it's not enough.
Yeah.
You know,
she says, he treated me terribly. And in return, I did it to him. I'm a swan. I'm monogamous. And then she goes, can we change the subject? So now she dives into work. She signs with Kmart, which was huge. Like I said, I had the shower curtain, I had the comforter, I had the pillow, because Kmart was my jam. That's what I could afford in my 20s, So she launches Martha Stewart Living. It's groundbreaking because of the content. So one thing that she did with her magazine is that it combined everything: parenting, decorating, cooking, all of that in one place, rather than having like relationship and then, whatever. She buys a fixer-upper in the Hamptons. It's called Lily Pond Lane. And she throws parties and she bangs a bunch of rich, smart men. She meets this guy, Charles Simoni, I think his name is, and he's an executive at Microsoft. Now, I don't remember her running around with this guy. I didn't remember this.
I don't remember anyone that she's ever been with romantically.
I remember this. She was with this guy for a while.
15 years.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. They traveled the globe together. Like they have this really rich and opulent life. And the producer says, this is probably the gem of the entire documentary. She goes, the producer goes, have you had any relationships where you talk about your feelings? And she says, no, that's why I haven't had any relationships. It doesn't interest me to know how Charles feels. I'm not going to sit there and go, Charles, how do you feel? She goes, I just want to know what you're doing. What are you doing, Charles? And I'm like, wow, she is cut off emotionally from herself. Wow.
Yes. Well, maybe she doesn't want, she's very focused, very driven. She doesn't want to be bogged down by other people's problems. She wants someone to travel with and go to events with and do stuff with, but she does not have time, to be dragged down by anybody's crap, period.
But see, this full disclosure, my husband is exactly this way. He's like, any little bit of feeling coming at him is like drama, and he doesn't like that and doesn't want to deal with that. And I'm always like, okay, well, people have feelings and we can talk about them. Like that is a thing. I think it's just hard for some people, like, because to your point, Brooke, she doesn't want to be, but why is she seeing someone saying how they're feeling as something that bogs her down? Do you know what I mean?
Because it does. I mean, that's just real. It does.
Brooke's like, I don't want to hear about how you're fucking feeling either, Amy.
I don't know. If I was Martha Stewart and I had that much stuff going on and, responsibilities and things to do. Again, she doesn't want that kind of a relationship. She doesn't want like a true, she wants a date. She wants someone to travel with and do stuff with and whatever. She doesn't want to have an intimate relationship with him, clearly.
She would last 5 minutes married to me because I'm always like, can we talk about our feelings?
Yeah, I don't think you'd make it past, the first date.
No.
Yeah.
So now she's rolling in money. She gets a TV show. She creates DIY, like you guys mentioned. She buys her own. She buys out. This was smart. She bought out her own magazine from Time. So now she owns it. And she forms a company in 1999. Now, when we get into this stock stuff, you guys are going to have to like walk me through this because I'm not real clear what's happening.
Yeah, okay. I was always confused.
I was going to say Brooke, but I didn't want to insult you.
It's okay.
So in 1999, she plans to take the company public. And all of a sudden, she starts getting slammed in the press as a bitch right before the IPO. And investors are weary. And this is a good point. Investors are weary of one person, like a company being built around one person, because it's a huge liability, right? As we'll see later. So there's a real double standard here, Martha says, because her behavior would be applauded if it was from a man. She's not wrong.
No.
The offering is at $18 and closes at $38, which values the stock at $1.2 billion with a B.
Wow. Yeah.
She's the first
Impressive.
self-made female billionaire in the United States. And we see her on this like media blitz. She's all over the place. We see her strolling through the White House with Hillary Clinton.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the drama. Okay, so let's go through it. So in 2001, things come crashing down. She's traveling, and this is out of Martha's mouth, this version, okay? She's traveling and she goes, I called my office to check in like a good CEO does. And they told me that my stockbroker had called about ImClone. Is that what it is? ImClone, I think it was.
Yeah.
It was a biotech company created by a friend of hers, Sam Waxel. He had created a drug called Erbitux, which had the potential to cure several diseases. I would want some specifics on this, but that's all we're told. She calls Peter, her stockbroker. She says she had a very short conversation where he said, the stock's going down. She said, yeah, we should sell it. She says, okay, sell. Or he says, I think we should sell it. She says, okay, sell. And then she just goes on her way and doesn't even think about it again. Now that's from her. 6 months later, Sam Waxel is arrested. He is accused of knowing the FDA would not approve Erbitux because it was announced before it was announced, and he tipped other people off. So that is insider trading, correct, Brooke?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I wasn't the one supposed to answer, but I'm like, yes, I know that is insider.
That one I know.
Question
that one I got.
Answer.
Ding. So this is at the time culturally of Enron, and I remember that, and all these. So at the time, you just had all these big companies going bust for insider trading and, just shady shit. David Kelly, the former USDA, says these billionaires enriched themselves and didn't think the law applied to their investors who lost millions. So they're looking into this. They're looking into the people who offloaded the stock, and Martha is one of them. And she is brought in for questioning. And she says, I answered, and my lawyers told me if I didn't know, to say I didn't know. So that's what I did. Do I have that right, Brooke? That's what her lawyers advised her. So she goes in, she's being asked, and she does exactly what they told her to do. And she says, now in retrospect, that was really bad advice. The late night shows are making jokes about this. So she finally puts out a statement and is basically like, I did nothing wrong here. Like, this is what happened. This is my side of it. She's on talk shows trying to make a salad, and some reporters just like going at her. And she's like, can I just make my goddamn salad? So John Cuddy, who is her attorney, says it was obvious. Okay, so this is where it gets murky for me. Because he says it was obvious she didn't even speak to Sam until after she had traded. Okay. She was relieved and convinced it would be. So why is she caught up in this? Will someone explain to me like what she did wrong? Because they don't charge her with insider trading. They charge her with lying during. So is this like a Bill Clinton situation where they didn't charge him for the crime, but they got him on lying to the FBI or whatever? Like, is that similar?
Well, I don't think Bill Clinton was charged with lying to federal investigators, but
no, but was it Bill Clinton who was like, it wasn't the crime, it was the lying that was the problem? I might have that right.
Yeah, I mean,
anyway.
It's not the crime, it's the cover up.
That's why he was impeached or whatever.
Yeah, because he lied. But yeah, it is a crime to lie to a federal investigator, which is different than state police or what. You can lie to them and not be prosecuted, but you cannot lie to the feds. So she didn't do anything wrong. She because this guy Sam, he just called her office and left a message. And the information that he had was that he knew the FDA was not going to approve this drug. So he was probably calling to tell her that. He was trying to give her inside information, but she never received it.
Okay.
And she said, oh, why is he calling? And then she called her stockbroker and she said, yeah, I just got this call from Sam. And he said, yeah, the stock's going down. And she just said, okay, well, maybe we should just sell it. But she sold it not knowing that fact about the FDA approval. So that's why she did not commit insider trading. But then it was kind of unclear to me what she told.
Yeah,
Obviously,
like what was the lie? That was what was unclear to me.
It is unclear because I think what happened was her lawyers said, she said her lawyers told her to keep quiet, and that turned out to be bad advice. And so I think that she thinks that if she would have just recounted what I just said, that this wouldn't have happened. But instead, I think she told them something else that obviously wasn't true to try to make herself look less culpable.
So maybe she kind of said, like, maybe by saying she didn't know something, but they could prove that it, you know what I mean, that it happened. Then
she did know something. She knew something was up.
Right.
Because she probably told them, "Oh, I just decided to sell the stock that day."
Yeah,
and that, which is not very believable. And she should have just said, "Yeah, well, I got this message. I don't know that all I got was a message. He called. I called my stockbroker. He said, yeah, it's going down. I said, well, just sell it." That right there is not a crime if she would have just told them that. But instead, she told them something else that was untrue.
Okay, that makes more sense. So
this was a witch hunt. I'm sorry, this was.
Yeah. Well, Sam Waxel says in an interview they wanted Martha. Yeah, and I got the sense that if I gave them something, that they would let me go. He's the dude who did the insider trading.
I know. Yeah. And he didn't go to prison, right?
Of course not.
I think he did. Hey everyone, stay tuned. Little Miss Recap will be right back after these words. Now I have to look it up.
Well, and also her stockbroker was charged.
Yeah, he was charged along with her as well.
For lying.
And that's the thing, like these questions, this is why it's so confusing, because when I was watching all this, I'm like, I still don't get what she did wrong. And it doesn't even seem like she was outright lying. I think she was just kind of exactly what you said, Brooke, kind of, just
lying by omission. Maybe like, I don't know.
Well, this is okay. This is what I wrote down. It said that the lie was not being truthful about why she sold. She said she didn't recall being told why Sam was selling, and that's why she traded, but they believed that she knew Sam was selling the shares. Okay. So that message that he left at the office, she's saying it was just a message saying Sam called. And they're like, we don't believe that. We believe you. And I think that
the message was the crux of it, because I think her assistant was brought in to testify against her, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Sam Waxel did do jail time. He did 19 months in a federal prison.
He was more than Martha, thank God.
No, I'm sorry, I'm wrong.
Oh.
He did more than that. He was sentenced to 7 years and 3 months.
See, that seems like a better sentence for insider, because what that guy did was bad.
Yeah.
I mean, that's so
he served blatant. A total of 87 months, which I have no idea. Let me think of what is divisible by 12.
That's like 7 years.
7 years.
7 times 12 is 84? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. I can't do math. That's scary. Okay. So Comey, by the way, is the district attorney in New York, or is he the attorney general? I forget.
No, he's the he was a FBI. He was a, like a special. He was a prosecutor, a federal prosecutor.
Okay, so
not the FBI. The FBI. He's a prosecutor. The FBI are like police, so he's a federal prosecutor.
And it's James Comey. Didn't need to see him again. Did not need to see him again.
God, that guy's got quite an ego.
So people were really surprised that he had brought this case against her, because it just wasn't like a real consequential case. He had bigger fish that he could have went after. Let's put it that way. And the optics are really bad. It's a bunch of men prosecuting a woman for lying, and it wasn't a crime. The trade was, she only saved $45,000. I know that's a lot of money for me, for you guys too. But $45,000 for Martha Stewart? No.
Yeah.
Her stock tanks. She refuses to plead guilty. Douglas Fanwell, who's Peter's secretary, is the star witness, and he admits that he gave the tip to Martha, and he was directed to by Peter. And he also says Martha was a real bitch to me all the time. Called me names. So some female reporters start calling this a bitch hunt, which I thought was pretty funny.
Mhm.
And they basically say like she's being persecuted because she's a woman and she's a bitch. She's being prosecuted. Sorry, very different term. Mariana Pasternak is her best friend. She testifies that when they were traveling on that day of the trade, that Martha allegedly told her, "Isn't it nice to have brokers who tell you these things?" That didn't seem good. That didn't seem.
Yeah, a lot. There were a lot of people who testified against her, and like you said, the assistant, the one who took the message, she testified that she was, that Sam wanted her to know this specifically. So there's all these people saying the exact opposite of what she's saying, and I guess they decided that it would just be easier to just get her on the lying part than to really try to prove that she actually had the knowledge. But yeah, it didn't look good for
Do you
her.
think that she actually lied? Do you think that she knew and she's telling us a different story?
It's possible.
I do.
Because there's all these other people, disinterested people, saying that she did know.
I think it's very possible. Martha is, I don't give a fuck, right? So I could see her just being like, in her mind, like, yeah, I'm going to commit this crime. No big deal. Nobody's going to care. People are committing bigger crimes. Not a big deal.
Well, my guess would be, right, I think her experience on Wall Street, right, it worked for her and against her, because a lot of people were like, listen, she understood of anyone
That's
who
a good
understood
point.
it, she understood the market. Like if it was me, I'd be like, oh, okay, not knowing what I was doing. But at the same time, I think that so much of this was the timing of everything. And I think that something was going to happen for her they were going to take her down.
Yeah.
She was going to get taken down no matter what. I just feel like whether it was this or something else, that she represented something that in the 1990s and the early aughts, the world could not handle. Which is a self-made woman who did not give a fuck.
She was a woman playing in the good old boys club. And they're like, wait a minute, you don't get to be in the good old boys club. Get out of here. We're going to take you out of here.
Well,
absolutely.
Men also feel like, right? Men always feel like they want women to need them. And she didn't need them. No. She didn't need you. And she didn't need any of it. No. But men have a really hard time when they realize that they're not really needed. And lately, between this, what is this thing in Korea, South Korea, the 4B, like, yeah, I'm getting more and more like, do we really, I get.
Do we really need them?
We really need them. But because, right, men need women a lot more than women need men. Yeah. And I think that really bugs the crap out of them. And when you have the financial independence and I don't give a fuck, that's like right in their face. Like you're shoving it in their face. Like, I don't need you, James Comey.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't need you.
So she's found guilty. She says her daughter fainted when they read the verdict. Martha says, I had to go through that to be a trophy for the idiots in the U.S. Attorney's Office. These prosecutors should have been put in a Cuisinart and turned on high. And she says, I was a trophy, the first billionaire woman in America.
Yep.
Yeah. So her stock plummets, her show's canceled, advertisers pull out of her magazine, obviously. She resigns from the media company in an effort to try to save it. But it's built on her. She's the brand. It's never going to be saved. So she says she lost everything. And then we get this black screen of death that says, in the weeks before her sentencing, Martha invited a film crew for Easter brunch. And she's not exactly sweet in these interviews.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure she was a real bitch to work for. I'm sure she was.
I have a hard time. This is where I have a hard time with her. Like, I appreciate the I don't give a fuck attitude, but when you're berating people who serve you your meals or people who work for you, that drives me crazy. Because that's where I have to draw the line. Like, I can't. And we see her berating this one woman who's like in the kitchen cooking, and she's like, or slicing something, why would you use that knife? And she really like Don Draper, Peggy Olson kind of thing. Like, and she just berates the staff. I have a problem with that.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Mm-hmm. So she does. I will say her kitchen is amazing in this house.
Of course.
She's got like 3 islands. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
And that's what this whole thing with I remember the staff where she was like, the knife wasn't big enough. And this is one of the things with Martha, that this was a lesson that I think that her privilege and beauty did not teach her, which is, listen, Martha, even though you can do it, even though you don't need a lot of fluff in directions, it doesn't mean other people don't. And I think that she's one of these people that thinks about how she sees the world and what she wants and how she's going to operate. And for her, she doesn't need the please and thank you. She doesn't need the whatever. I think this is how her father spoke to them.
Yes.
And this is how she was taught. And there's a point at which there's a little bit of like, okay, so yeah, I'm with you. Like, that's not okay. And just because your dad did that to you doesn't mean that you now have the right to do it to other people, especially since you have a lot of power.
Yeah, I agree. She does this interview with Barbara Walters. Barbara Walters, my birthday twin. Not the same
problematic person. Yeah.
Barbara Walters, like, they're going to strip search you, right? Like, it's coming.
Oh,
it's coming. And Martha Stewart's like, we don't know that for sure. Oh no, they're going to strip search you. It was so weird. And she's sentenced to 5 months in prison, 5 months, as our favorite prisoners on Love After Lockup would say, on the ankle monitor, and then 2 years on paper. Okay. Oh. And she has to pay a fine of $30,000, which is nothing for her. Nothing. Now, this is the part I found most interesting, is when she gets to prison. Because she gets to this prison and it's called Camp Cupcake. That's the nickname, because it's real easy breezy. People are walking around, kind of like where my boyfriend Eric Menendez is held right now, in that unit where they're like painting walls and doing yoga. Like, it's kind of that situation. And she keeps a journal. And sure enough, as Barbara Walters predicted, she is strip searched. She says the springs in her bed were too hard, and she's upset at the quality of food. She does raise a good concern, though. She talks about the quality of food in prisons, and this is something I'm always talking about: schools and prisons. We are feeding people pretty much like feed in prisons. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
And like, they're still human beings.
Yes.
Can we get them some fresh fruit? So she accidentally touches an officer one day. She's in solitary. So like, life is hard for her in prison.
And again, I think she's been made an example of. I think, right? I think she is someone who was, I don't know. And also, they don't feed you. You have solitary confinement, and they don't feed you for a full day. No water, no food. Isn't that inhumane treatment?
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah. So what's interesting, though, is there's this slight turn, and she starts speaking to the other women, and she sort of starts like inspiring them. And she's like, I'm helping one woman garden. She meets with one woman who wants to like learn how to do her own business, and she's helping her. And the fellow inmates all like her and say they really tried to make prison a better thing for them, and that she was really friendly with them. I thought that was great. I thought that was really great. Okay. So now she's getting released. She's wearing a poncho that one of the prisoners made her.
The infamous poncho.
I remember that scene.
The poncho.
Her getting on the private plane.
From Charles.
Walking out of prison with her poncho. And she looked fantastic. Like, her hair looked perfect. It's like, how did you get your hair done?
How'd you have a glow up in prison?
Yeah, she it looked like she lost weight, probably because she hadn't been eating,
Did you guys cover that Lois Reese murders? I can't remember if you covered that or not. I don't think you did.
No.
The new documentary. Same thing, though. This woman had a total glow up in prison. I'm like, what is happening with these people?
Well, she also said that her time in prison wasn't, all bad. It gave her time to contemplate and didn't have a lot of worry and stress. And I guess she tried to find, the positive in it.
And if we think about what she said earlier when she was starting this whole thing, right? She was like, I want to make these things up here accessible for these people down here. And I feel like that's kind of what she was doing in prison. Like, she was helping these women figure out what they want to do in life, and that they can do it. It is accessible. I thought it was great. I thought it was really great. So she returns back to work. We see her like talking to her company, and she's crying in her speech. I was like, whoa.
That's the first.
Yeah.
Jesus. Mark Brunette
Problematic.
gives her a daily show, and she says she fucking hates it. It's not authentic to her. She's like playing cutesy with celebrities, like, oh, I'm gonna do like a little, I don't know, bring out your puppy with what's his name? I'm trying to think of like a cutesy Tom Hanks, bring out your puppy. Not the kind of stuff Martha Stewart wants to do, right?
Yeah.
She's more the Gordon Ramsay reality show kind of person. And she says the show was more like a prison. So she's trying to rebuild her company. Now, one morning she says she's in bed with Charles, and he goes, oh, BT dubs, I'm marrying someone named Lisa, and I can never talk to you again. And she's like, what? Yeah.
Well, she said he only visited her once.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, he was traveling. He had stuff happening. And, it was kind of a downer to have to go and, get in line and then be searched. And that's just a lot.
He's a Microsoft exec. So he's got his hands full dealing with all those viruses and bugs. So he probably was busy. So she ends up having to sell her company to a retail licensing company. And she lost more than $1 billion in the sale.
Wow.
In 2015, she begins to rebuild. And she is asked to do a roast for Justin Bieber.
Yeah, and this surprised me because I did not realize that it was that roast that kind of shifted things. In my mind, I thought the minute she got out of prison, like she was just back to business, because I felt like I did see her. And it was like, oh, she's working, she's doing stuff, she's still Martha. And it didn't, I wasn't paying attention to what I knew about the Apprentice and that season and all of that, but I didn't watch it. But I had no idea that she was struggling so much. And it really sounds like she struggled for a decade after she got out of prison. And I thought she was fine. I didn't know any of this.
You weren't checking in on Martha Stewart daily?
Yeah, no, I wasn't paying attention to the stock prices or anything, or the fact that it just sort of seemed like, oh, magazines are going away anyway. It didn't even occur to me like, oh, everything's been destroyed.
Now, did you guys watch this roast? Did you ever see this roast? Because it's one of the biggest ones.
Oh yeah, I've seen. I mean, I didn't watch the whole thing.
You've seen clips.
Many clips of it. Yeah. And this is where she forged her relationship with Snoop.
Yes.
That's where they met.
So I have the transcript of her jokes. I wanted to read a few that I can read, if you know what I mean, because some of them were pretty racist. Not going to read those. But she does say some pretty funny things. Like she says,
well, her famous line was that she had done more prison time than everyone else combined on that stage. And there were several, Snoop included, people who had gone to jail or prison.
She says, Snoop, I see that you've been following my beauty regimen. You'd never know that Snoop Dogg is 43 now, which is 3 times, and I deliver it with the whiteness of Martha Stewart, I feel like, which is 3 times as long as actual dogs live and twice as long as most of his friends. Ooh. Wow. So like things like that. She does a lot of them, guys, I can't read because they're just too racist. I'm not comfortable. But they're real cutting and real dark and real edgy. And what this does is 2 things. It makes her culturally relevant again, but it also introduces her to a new generation, because now all these clips are going viral of her doing this kind of stuff. And it's so funny because she said, I didn't realize I would get roasted when I was up there. And I'm like, have you never seen a Don Rickles roast? Like, you were born in 1941. So it goes viral on Twitter. And she's sitting next to Brooke, like you mentioned, Snoop Dogg, who she says was smoking blunts for 7 hours straight.
So she was pretty high by the end.
Yes. And they become friends and they do like a little show together, and they pretty much become like a buddy comedy. And this is the end of the story. This is how like we've welcomed Martha Stewart back into the cultural fold, is by looking at her, I think, through the eyes of a new generation, kind of like the Menendez situation that's happening. So it's really interesting to see what these newer generations are doing with these kind of icons from Gen X and seeing them in a different light. But here she is.
Yeah, because the younger generation doesn't see her through a sexist lens, because they look at her and they go, wow, like you did all that and you went to prison and, you're it didn't really faze you or, it's like,
Yeah.
it's admirable. And, they mentioned that, she's, the oldest woman to ever be on the cover of the Sports Illustrated
And looking
swimsuit
fabulous,
edition.
looking unbelievable. I
I
mean,
mean, of
she
course,
really
she
is
has a lot of
gorgeous.
money. She's had a lot of plastic surgery and
I
Yeah.
remember
procedures
that
and whatever.
cover.
But still, but she's still fundamentally like her face, everything. She's
Listen, she
still
looked better on
beautiful.
that cover than I looked at 19. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I also think, sorry, I also
go ahead.
think the other part of it too is, right, we have this younger generation that, isn't as misogynistic as the older generation, so they're looking at it differently. I also think she got to an age where she became less threatening, quite
that's
frankly.
a very good point.
I think that, like, when she was younger, she was this beautiful woman and she was cold and she was, and the ice princess, whatever that is. And I think that now that she's a bit older, it's almost like, well, it's funny when you're old and do that. Like you can be cranky. You can be kind of a bitch when you're older. And I feel like she was older and she embraced the things that I think people thought, oh, she would never embrace that.
Yeah.
And it was like, no, I think, and the part that makes me kind of sad is I think this is who she's been all along. I think she's always been this person. I just don't think that people, right, culturally, because of the time, but also I just don't think that people could see that other part of her. But it was almost a little bit like, oh, okay, now we can see this part of you.
Yeah.
And I do think prison changed her. I do
She's
think
been
the prison
humbled a
stuff
little
changed
bit.
her.
A little bit.
No, I think prison humbled her. I think that she was forced to for the first time in a long, long time. Again, I just want to say, she had this upbringing where they didn't have a lot of money, but she was a model at 15, 16. So I mean, she was, and then she marries this very, very wealthy guy. She has been in another world for a long, long time. I think prison forced her to realize, like, listen, Martha, you got a lot. You are a very lucky person and you've been given a lot. So, but again, I don't think that softened. I don't think I think she's still who she is. I think she's just, it's a touch more empathy than she had before.
Yeah. And I think she just cares less about what people think or say. What can you do to her at this point?
Which
I think
true.
people respect her even more. I mean, just the fact that she survived all of this and, rebuilt herself. And I mean, I always liked her, but I especially admire her now for all of this.
And this pairing with Snoop Dogg is, I'm just loving the Snoop Dogg.
I love it.
I think this is who Snoop Dogg's always been, but I love the older Snoop Dogg. I love the two of them at the Olympics. And I love how it was truly genuine. It was like Snoop turning to her saying,
they
I'd
asked
like to learn
him
from you.
They asked him about this and he's like, we have a lot of the same interests. Like I like taking care of my house and doing DIY stuff. And the idea of like Snoop just hanging out in his garden is like adorable to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love them together too. I think they're great. And I was really glad though to watch this. I wasn't going to watch it. And like I said, I felt some kind of way about it. And I feel completely different on the other end of it. I feel like, yeah, there was a bitch hunt, as they say. And she, maybe she did commit a crime. And maybe what happened to her should have happened to her. But it should have happened to a lot of other people too.
Yeah.
Is my problem. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And she has the right to be I do feel like she's still very angry. And she's absolutely right. The one thing that I thought was very interesting, I had never thought about this before, which is what would have happened if Martha never went to prison? Because she would now be a billionaire times 10. She would be huge. I mean, I don't know how much money Oprah has, but like beyond that, I mean, she was on track. And it is this very interesting thing of, this is one way for the world to keep women down, people of color down, people, that kind of thing is the fact that, oh, well, she could be in such a different place in her. She could have such influence and money but okay, sorry, too much. So I'm going to take it back from you. And And I think that's the other part that people have such a hard time, or what I really struggle with too, which is that you can do everything right. You can build this business, you can do all of that. And yeah, someone can come along and just, very easily take it from you. And just because they don't like you.
I'm looking up the richest women in the United States. The richest woman in the United States is Alice Walton, the only child of Walmart founder Sam Walton. She's worth $89 million.
You mean billion? Really?
Oh, yes. Did I say million? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
billion. Yeah. And then
the Kardashians.
Julia Koch is next. And then Jacqueline Mars, Mackenzie Scott. I don't know a lot of these people. Taylor Swift is on the list.
Mackenzie Scott's the ex of
Bezos.
Jeff Bezos.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And actually doing so much more for the world than
actually
Bezos.
Giving her money away, and she's still a billionaire, and she's giving
and still giving tons of money. Yeah,
which is amazing. Who's Jacqueline Mars? Is she from the Mars family, like the food?
I would think so, like the Mars. Yeah,
Mars bars. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, when I pulled up just Forbes top, whatever, there's not a woman in the top 15. So yeah, really? Alice Walton is number 15. So I don't even see Oprah. And there was a time when Oprah was on here.
Yeah. Well, and also the other thing is, I didn't realize Martha was before Oprah, right? Martha put out her magazine before Oprah put out her magazine. Like there is some of this formula, like she really did create a formula for people of, okay, now you do this and now you do that. And all of these, influencers and all these people that you see, they all kind of did, they all kind of did what Martha did, which is, okay, now this is who you are, and you're the brand, and this is your lifestyle and all of that kind of stuff. It's pretty amazing how much of a pioneer she really was in Oprah, all of this.
Oprah got her favorite things. That's from Martha.
What is? Martha started that? Okay.
Yeah. No, well, not the exact thing. I'm saying the concept of introducing people to products.
Yeah.
And things that, through the magazine or through whatever. Because although Martha had her own products, that had her name on them that she would introduce. But all the concepts came from Martha.
And the other one too, I mean, obviously everyone always would make fun of Kmart. Like I remember when Jacqueline, who's that Charlie's Angels? Jacqueline Smith. She had the Jacqueline Smith collection and all of that. But I do think that Martha, I'm with you, Amy, that she really elevated things when she went, because it wasn't, people knew, because she was such a perfectionist, people knew that Martha wasn't going to just put in a bunch of crap, into something. And I think that was the feeling of these celebrities that have these clothing lines. But, when you think about a place like Target and how many celebrity and big designers who, sell these gowns
for Target now.
Are now designing for Target.
Didn't Isaac Mizrahi do it?
Yeah. I mean, all the big
designer. Oh my God. What happened?
It's all those trips to Target. It just, sunk in.
Yeah. But that was something new too, because there was this separation a lot of times, right, between these things. And so she really, she did. When you look back and you go, God, yeah, this woman really pioneered. And again, I think that she was able to pioneer because of her personality. I think that she just, I think she just didn't let things get to her so much.
Yeah. And I think she kind of embodied like one of the things that my gram really strongly believed, which is you don't have to have money to be classy. Like you can be classy without money. And that's kind of what Martha Stewart did for people like me who couldn't afford to go to a fancy store and buy it, but I was buying, I was able to buy that $12 shower curtain.
And also her crafts, her crafting, she wasn't really using expensive things.
No.
I mean, a lot of times to be like, well, I went out to my garden and I found some sticks, and she always tried to make it where, okay, you probably have some of these things in your house already, and you can just go to Michael's or Hobby Lobby or whatever, and you get this and that. They were very attainable.
Yeah, absolutely
simple.
All right.
Do you think? Sorry. This is my last question. So,
go ahead.
What's so interesting is when we look at the world that we live in today, because she was rebelling. Martha was very much rebelling against this whole, right? We see that opening up the can and then dumping. It's a whole meal in one can. And it's like this gluttonous, like weird meat concoction. So a lot of what Martha Stewart was doing, which was part of the criticism of her, was, really trying to elevate things, really trying to like using fresh fruits and vegetables and using things and creating, just because you're cooking just for your family doesn't mean it needs to be slop. Any of that. But I'm curious of what you both think about sort of what we've seen today, because Martha Stewart, definitely, we were part of that generation, right? Of you can't possibly want to stay at home. Like our mother, it was this feeling of like, you can't stay at home. You can't be dependent on a man. You need to be, but you also want to have a family. So you have to do it all, right? The whole, we were part of that do it all generation. And Martha came in and was like, this powerhouse, but doing these more domestic things. So what do you think about today and like the trad wife and how everyone wants these little farms, ballerina farms?
Well, that's what I was going to say. I was going to say, we see a little bit of this in the homesteader movement, like kind of people wanting to get back to growing their own food, doing that kind of stuff. The trad wife, I feel like, is a separate thing. I think of Betty Draper when I think of the trad wife. Like, I don't know, and I'm not familiar with that. I don't have much of that in my life. But where I live in rural Pennsylvania, there's certainly a lot of homesteading type situations where people are like trying to get as far off grid and as, non-dependable on stores and big commerce and stuff as they can. So I think maybe we're seeing a little bit of it there. And Martha Stewart would absolutely be able to like walk you through how to homestead, I think, a little bit. Like without the cutting of the wood, but like growing food, sustaining yourself. I think she could absolutely do that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's definitely a swing back in that direction.
Yeah.
And she should jump. Well, she doesn't need the money or whatever.
Well, she's tired.
Brooke's jump on that. Her business advice. She should jump on that.
You should jump on that.
Well, and then last question, this really is my last question, which is, why do you think she decided now to do this? Right? I mean, she's 83.
To do the documentary?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think in recent years, and it started with that podcast, it didn't start with, but I was introduced to it through that podcast You're Wrong About, where we started this whole push of these women that we thought were one way were really this other way. So some of the podcasts I heard first were like Monica Lewinsky, Tanya Harding, like women like that were maligned for stuff that really wasn't, they were unfairly maligned. And sort of that reclaiming and coming back and looking at things through a different lens. I think this is part of it. I think it's this, we have this woman that we all think a certain way about, and we want to show you what really happened and let her tell her story. And if you're Martha Stewart and you're that big of a control freak and you're in your 80s, you're going to be like, I want to tell my story the way I want to tell my story. And I think she did have a lot of direction over this.
Oh, I'm
narrative.
sure. Yeah, I'm sure she did. Well, and also she had the same outfit on the whole time. I mean, she was like, listen, I'm going to give you 3 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, I get the sense and like, you can follow me around in my yard.
Yes.
I also think she probably really limited it too, of like, okay, these are the things I'm willing to do.
Yeah. And we hardly hear from her daughter.
Yeah, we don't see most of these people. So these voices that are like,
just these disembodied voices.
Yeah, I'm like, who's talking? What's happening?
Yeah.
And I realized like, oh, focus on the lower third, like you have to see the name.
Yep.
And that was like, did all of these people just do audiobooks? Is this all taken from? I was so confused by that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or did the producers interview all these people and just decide like, let's not put them on camera?
Yeah, it was a strange choice. I will say I was glad it was a 2-hour documentary and not a 4-episode docuseries, which makes me freak out all the time about editing. But I thought it was a nice, tight narrative. I thought it was well done.
Perfect. Listen, she's about efficiency.
Yeah, that's true.
She loathes inefficiency.
Yes. So she's this is it. My whole life, 2 hours. There you go. Martha. Boom.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for talking with me about this. I really appreciate it. And I want to tell everyone to go over and listen to Psych Legal Pop. I really love your show. And why don't you tell us, like, do you have anything coming up? Do you have something other than Sister Wives, which you do a brilliant job at? What else are you doing over there?
Brooke?
Well, we were covering Love is Blind, but that's over. So now we're back to reviewing documentaries. What did we just record yesterday? I can't even remember.
So yeah, we did Sweet Bobby. We recorded with Shabnam.
Yes.
And we did the Adnan Syed case. And we also talked a little bit about Sweet Bobby.
Yeah.
And that's a crossover with her podcast, Chai After Dark. Yeah, I mean, we haven't really figured out what we're doing next week.
Isn't that how it goes though? Like, because you don't know who's going to be talking about what.
Yeah, it's hard having a pop culture podcast.
Yeah, the documentaries, they seem to come out of nowhere. You know, all of a sudden the one is released and you're like, what? Whoa, everyone's talking about it.
And the one you think is going to hit doesn't. And the one that you don't know is going to hits. And you're like, oh, I got to record this now. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. So we usually just try to pick up on whatever is people are talking about it at the moment. But on Thursdays, we have our documentaries. On Mondays, we release Sister Wives season 19. And we also have a Patreon, Psych Legal Pop podcast on Patreon. And we do a weekly bonus episode where we just talk about whatever we want to talk about. Sometimes we talk about our personal life. Sometimes we just get more frank about certain things and whatever's happening.
It's fun. It's like a hot topics kind of situation sometimes. Yeah.
And we also do once a month, we do a bonus true crime episode. And we do a Ask Us Anything episode.
So that's the opportunity you can ask us some direct questions and we'll give you feedback on these particular things.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And you also get all the regular shows ad free.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of content there if you want to check it out. A couple different tiers.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you again. And everybody else, thank you for listening. If you haven't already, please check out our Facebook group, Backdoor Friends. It's pretty wild in there, but we have a pretty good time. There's a lot of bang-offs happening, which I'm not responsible for. That's clear. So she'll put 2 people up for a bang-off, and they're usually terrible people. Although this week I did my own, and it was Jordan Catalano from My So-Called Life or Dylan McKay from 90210. That was tough.
That's
a tough one.
That's a real Gen X conundrum right there.
Yeah, it was a tough one. I'm going Dylan McKay every time, anytime.
Yeah.
But, he's toxic. So, all right, guys. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you soon. Thank you so much for listening to Little Miss Recap. If you'd like to support the show, the best way you can do that is to join our Twin Flame universe, which is our Patreon, Supercast, and Apple subscription feeds. The links for those are in the show notes. You get ad-free episodes and a ton of bonus content. You can also subscribe to the feed so you don't miss an episode, share the show with a friend, and leave a 5-star review. To contact the show, please email me directly at amy@littlemissrecap.com or join our Facebook group, Backdoor Friends. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.